We're here today to talk about the power of persuasion. Now, what does persuasion mean? Persuasion is when you make someone believe what you are saying is true, or it's a way to get people to agree with you. Maybe you want to change their way of thinking, or maybe you want to propose an idea. I'm sure in your life, often the power of persuasion can be useful for you, whether it's in your career or in your daily life. This is a very important skill to have. So for me to explain here today how you can use the power of persuasion, I'm going to share an idea with you in this live video training. And I'm going to do my best to persuade you to agree with me. Okay, let's get started. So the idea here that I want to share with you is that following your passion is crucial because feeling motivated and energized, you can overcome almost anything. This is a powerful idea, and this is the idea that I am here today in this video to convince you, to persuade you that this is true. Some people say it's not a good idea to follow your passion. I strongly believe that it is crucial. What does crucial mean? Crucial means that it's very important. Okay, it's something that you have to do. Okay, so that's what I'm here to persuade you. I'm going to use different techniques about the power of persuasion here in this video. And at the end of this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how you can do this yourself. Let's get started. So we're talking about passion here. So to begin, I'd like to ask you a question. I'm sure you can think of a time. I'd like you to think of a time when you were doing something that you were really passionate about. You were doing something that you love, okay? Passion is about love. And I want you to think about a time now that in the past you were doing something that you were passionate about and you felt that surge of energy. It feels like electricity flowing through your body, okay? Now take a moment here to remember, okay? Remember a time when you were doing something that you were passionate about and you could feel that electricity, that surge of energy going through your body. Can you think of a time? Can you think of an example? The surge of electricity is something very tangible. It's something very real that I'm sure that you can remember or you can imagine. If you think back to that time when you were following your passion, you can feel it. It's like electricity going through your body. Well, for me, I'm passionate about sharing powerful ideas. Okay. And like this idea I'm sharing with you here today. Okay. I have this energy, I have this passion right now as I'm sharing this idea with you. And the idea, just to remind you, or if you're joining a little bit late here, the idea is that following your passion is crucial because being motivated and energized, you can overcome almost anything. So any obstacle that comes in your way, you have so much energy that you can overcome any obstacle if you are following your passion. And basically, this is one of my passions, is sharing powerful ideas. So I want to explain to you, give you an example about this. This morning, when I was doing my morning routine, I do a morning routine every day that helps me get focused, helps me ignite my passions, and helps me get energized for the day. And this morning, when I was doing my routine, I was inspired. I was thinking about a workshop that I did yesterday with my students. And this workshop that we're doing in the program in English for Success at the moment is all about the power of persuasion. and specifically supporting your ideas. Okay, there are 4 ways that you can support your ideas in English, or in any language, really. Um, and yesterday we had this workshop, and we were talking about the 4 ways you can support your ideas. And I'm going to share these at the end of the video here today. Okay, so stick around till the end. You'll see these 4 ways that you can support your ideas when communicating in English or in any language. And this is quite a challenging task for people, to be thinking in this way and also to do it in a different language. So my students yesterday, they were challenged in the workshop. They found this quite difficult. And at the end of the workshop, some of them felt, one of my students in particular felt that she hadn't achieved her goal. She hadn't got this specific 4 ways to support for her idea. So basically, this morning, when I was doing my morning routine, I decided to create this video here, right? The video that you are here watching with me now. And this was my inspiration. This is my passion, because I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, right? Sharing powerful ideas. And yeah, if I were not following my passion, I probably would have left that workshop yesterday and said, okay, look, we'll continue next week or on Saturday in the next workshop, and we'll continue this. But I want to make it better, okay? Because it's my passion. All right, that's why I'm here today. So they, they found this challenging. And this morning, when I had the idea to create this video, I had this surge of electricity. I had this energy. I had this inspiration to create this video. And that's the video that you're watching here with me now. So this is the idea I'm sharing with you. That's my example of one time when I was following my passion and I felt this electricity. So I hope at this stage you have remembered one time when you were following your passion and you felt that electricity. Okay. Now, let's take a look at some people that you may know. All right. Do you know the person in this picture here? I'm sure you probably recognize him. This is Albert Einstein. And let me tell you a fact. I'm going to share with you 4 quick stories about 4 people that I think you will know, 4 famous people. First of all, Albert Einstein. Did you know that he wasn't able to speak until he was 4 years old? And his teachers said that he wouldn't amount to much. What does this mean? His teachers believed that he wouldn't achieve much. He wouldn't achieve a lot in his life. Okay, so this was probably an obstacle for Albert Einstein, right? To be a slow developer and to not do well in school, and his teachers say to him that he's not going to achieve much. But did he achieve a lot? He did, right? Of course he did. Everyone in the world knows who Albert Einstein is. And I believe a key to this is because he was following his passion. And if he wasn't following his passion, then he wouldn't have had that energy to overcome any obstacles that he faced in his life. Do you know this man, Michael Jordan? Do you think he was successful? Do you think he had obstacles? Well, after being cut from his high school basketball team, Michael Jordan went home, locked himself in his bedroom, and cried because he was cut from the team in basketball when he was in high school. Okay? Did he stop? Did he let this obstacle stop him? Or did he follow his passion? Walt Disney, maybe you don't recognize his face, but I'm sure you've heard of Disney. Well, this is another man who followed his passion and didn't give up. And this is just astounding, okay? He was fired from a newspaper, okay? Fired means to be told that you cannot work here anymore, kicked out of your job, Okay, he was fired because he had no original ideas. Now you can think of Disney, how many original ideas came out of Disney and different Disney cartoons and Disney films you've seen. Do you think he had original ideas? Did you know that he was refused for over 300 times to get financing to start his company? Imagine trying to get a loan from a bank 3 times and still continuing to go to the 4th time, or even 10 times when people tell you, no, we're not going to support your idea, and still continuing. He was refused 300 times. Do you think he could have done this if he wasn't following his passion? Finally, I want to talk about a band you may have heard of before. Even when you see this picture, you can probably think of the name of this band, the Beatles, one of the most successful bands in the world in history. Did you know that they were rejected from a recording studio? And the quote was, or the recording studio believed that they didn't have a future in show business, but they followed their passion. Okay, so following your passion, the idea that I'm here to share with you today is that following your passion gives you this energy and this motivation that will help you to overcome obstacles, because there's going to be obstacles. There are always going to be obstacles. And if you want to be successful in life, the main thing is that you don't give up. That's key. And to not give up, you need to have a passion. Perhaps you know this man. Of course you know this man. Or if you don't know his face, I'm sure you know the symbol or the company, Apple. Well, this is Steve Jobs. And I'd like to finally conclude here by mentioning Steve Jobs, because I think you cannot speak about passion without mentioning this man's name. He is the perfect example of someone who followed his passion and overcame obstacles. And to quote Steve Jobs about this concept or this idea, he said that people with passion can change the world. And that's the idea that I'm here to share with you today, is that passion can give you the motivation and the energy to overcome almost any obstacle that come up in front of your life. So why am I here sharing this idea with you today? I am speaking about the power of persuasion. So I'd like to ask you now at this stage, are you persuaded? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with my idea that passion is important? Well, if you do, I hope you do. Let's take a look. Let's break down what I have told you here today, and let's look at exactly how, through research, through a lot of research and experience, we can find that there are 4 different ways that you can support an idea to make this a strong idea. And I have given you the example of these 4 different ways of supporting here today, speaking with you. So the power of persuasion, one technique, one very strong technique that you can use is supporting your reasons. And we can support our reasons in many different ways, but there are 4 of the most powerful ways that you can use. And I've highlighted here for you today in this short speech. Number 1, common sense. Common sense is when you appeal to something or you talk about something that you believe that everybody already knows. Okay. Number 2 is examples. You give examples. Number 3 is statistics. Statistics, numbers, things like this. Okay, statistics. And finally, number 4 is experts, referring to an expert or an expert opinion or a quote from an expert. If you can use all 4 of these supports for your reasons, then you will really have a great deal of persuasion in helping to persuade people, make people believe, and make people agree with what you're saying. So, to look back on what I've said to you here today, let's see how I used common sense, examples, statistics, and expert opinion. Well, first of all, when I began speaking with you here today, I said, I'm sure you can think of a time when you felt your passion. Do you remember I said that to you? I'm sure you can think of a time when you were following your passion and you felt that electricity, that energy in your body. Okay. That is an example of common sense. Okay. This is something that I believe most people already know, right? And that's why I asked you to think of this. So I believe that most people know that you know already that when you're following your passion, you have more energy. Okay. So I use that common sense to support my idea here that following your passion is important. Next of all, I told you a little bit of a story. This morning, when I was doing my morning routine, I thought about a workshop I did with my students yesterday. Okay. And this was my example. Okay. I gave you an example from my life. You can think of an example from your own life or an example from something you've read or you've seen or you've heard in a podcast or whatever. You can use an example. But this is support number 2. Support number 3 was when I said, let's take a look at some people you may know, some famous people throughout history. Walt Disney, who else was there? Michael Jordan, right? The Beatles. So we looked at some people, and I told you that Walt Disney was refused financing 300 times. So I gave you some statistics, I gave you some data, I gave you some real reference to famous people, famous cases that can support my reason, my idea that following your passion is important. And then finally, I spoke about Steve Jobs and I gave you the quote, people with passion can change the world. And that is me referring to who I consider to be an expert in the idea of passion. So this video, I came here today to highlight for you the power of persuasion and specifically the techniques that you can use to support your ideas, to make your ideas stronger and help to persuade others. That is this short training on the power of persuasion. If you would like the full guide for this, you can comment guide below. And that is Speak English, Follow Your Dreams TV. I will see you all in the next episode. Enjoy using the power of persuasion.